In this lecture, we are going to see how to deal with dates in JSON. We have already seen different data types in JSON such as strings, numbers, boolean, objects, etc. But you might have noticed that we haven't discussed about dates as a data type. It is because that JSON does not support date as a data type. In real-world scenarios, we will have to use dates in many different situations. So let's see how we can use dates in JSON. So if you get some real-world JSON data and if it includes a date information, the API documentation will clearly specify which key is representing date information. Let us see how we can deal with dates in JSON using some simple examples. So I have created a very basic HTML page and I have added the title like deal with date in JSON. So to show the result, let me add a div element with ID result. Okay. And within the head section, let me add a script where I'm going to write our JavaScript code. So for the window onload, let me write the function equals function. This is an anonymous function and let me write the code here. So what I'm going to do here is that I am expecting some JSON string. So where JSON string, to make it simple, I myself write the JSON string. So it should be within single quotes as it is a string value. JSON is a string value, not an object. So within curly braces, let me specify f name as John. Okay. Then put a comma as I'm separating key value pairs. Okay. Then I'm specifying L name and it is specified as Smith. And suppose we also have another key named DOB which represents date of birth. That is date of birth of this person. So in most of the cases, when you get some JSON string and if it contains some date information, the date will be represented either as a number or as a string. So the number will be actually the number of milliseconds since January 1st, 1970. So JavaScript also uses this format, that is date as a number, where the number will be the time in milliseconds since January 1st, 1970. So if the date of birth of this person is 22nd November 1982, then the number will be 4677 12 1 2 3 4 5 zeros. I don't have to do any calculation to find this. You can use a unique timestamp converter which is available online, and if you just enter the date of birth or the date you want in the specific format, it will convert it into this format. If you want, I can show you that. Let me enter Google and if I type Unix timestamp converter, you will get a number of timestamp converters. Okay, and if I click this one and suppose I enter 1982, then month is 11th. I'm just entering some value. Okay, 2200 convert. I'm getting 4677 1200. But if you see, this value is actually in seconds. We want to have it in milliseconds. So this value should be multiplied by 1000. That is why I have entered here 4677 1200. That is up to this. And I have also added 3 more zeros because I want to get this number in milliseconds. So this is the number that represents 22nd November 1982. I just assume that this is the date of birth of this person. So this will be the JSON string we receive if API or the program that returns this JSON string represents date of birth in this format, that is as a number. Next, what we need to do, we now have the JSON string with us. So to convert this into JavaScript, what we can do, we can use the parse method which we have already discussed. So we can specify where JS object equals json.parse. I need to specify the JSON string, it is the JSON string itself. Okay, so now this JS object actually contains the JavaScript object converted from this JSON string. So suppose I just want to display alert JS object dot dob. Let's see what output we will get. So let me save this. This is the page. Let me close this. I have saved this page actually within my local server. So here within SAMP, which is my local server, within htdocs, I have created a folder named server and I have saved our file within this deal with date.html. Okay. Now let me refresh this. See, we are seeing 4677 12 then 5 zeros, which is the value we have specified here. So this is what we are getting now as a DOB or date of birth. So next what we need to do, now this is just a number, we need to convert this into a date object. Then only it will be easy to process, right? So I want to save this value as the DOB now. So I'm specifying JS object.dob equals, I can use the date object like this, new date JS object dot dob. Now what will happen? This JS object dot dob is now a number which will be converted to a date object and it will be saved within the JS object's dob key. So now if we alert this, let me save this, what will we get? Let me refresh. See, we are getting Monday, November 22, 1982, 5:30 GMT plus 0530 IST. This is Indian Standard Time as I live in India. So this is now a date object. So suppose I want to display something like John Smith was born on 22 November 1982 or whatever format we want, we can use this DOB now. So this DOB is actually a date object now, as we have seen here. This MON represents the day of the week, November, or NOV represents the month, 22 date, 1982 year, then this time as well. This is GMT plus 0530 is Indian Standard Time, which is calculated based on the universal time, that is UTC. So suppose I want to represent it in the way I want, it will be easy if we get it as a string, right? So JavaScript provides a method called toJSON which will convert the date into a string format. So I want to display it in the format John Smith was born on 22/11/11/1982, that is dd/mm/YYYY format. So what I can do, let me create a variable where birthday equals, let me use JS object dot dob, which will give us the date of birth as a date object. I want to convert this into a string. So I'm using toJSON method, which is offered by JavaScript. So now this is a string. Suppose I alert birthday, save, let me refresh. This is represented like this and this is represented in this format. This is actually ISO 8601 format, which is an internationally accepted format to exchange date time values. So here it is represented like YYYYMMDD, then T, which represents a time value follows. So we should specify a T in ISO 8601 format if we want to specify the time value. And this is HH, MM, SS, this is seconds. And after this point 000 is milliseconds. And then Z represents UTC, that is universal time. So this is the ISO 8601 format, and toJSON actually converts our date object into a string which is represented as ISO 8601 format. So what I want now, I want to represent only the date value, that is 1982/11/22 in the format 22/11/1982. So if I use the slice method, which is a JavaScript method, I can cut this section, right? So what I can do, here I can specify dot slice. I'm specifying 0,10 because these are the first 10 characters. Let me refresh once again. Okay. See, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I want to get the first 10 characters. That is why I have specified 0,10. Okay. Here I am going to use a number of string methods to get the date in my preferred format. Okay. Dot. Let me specify split using dash, and then I want to reverse it using reverse method, and then I want to join them using slash because I want the data in the format dd/mm/yyyy. So this is the format I want. Okay, here instead of underscore it should be closing of bracket. So hope you are clear now. Let me show you the output now. Let me refresh. This is the date object, and now I am getting it in the format I want because 22/11/1982 is the format I want. That is why I have used some string methods. So first we have collected the date of birth, which is a number, and I have converted it into a date object using date method, and I have saved it in JS objects DOB key, and here we are just displaying it, and I want to get the birthday like dd/mm/yyyy. So JS object.dob.toJSON means what will happen? This date object will be converted into a string value which is represented as an ISO 8601 format. I will explain ISO 8601 format in detail here again. Okay, now I get the value as 1982, then dash 11-22, then T, which is representing that the time value is following, then the time as HHMMSS, then fraction of second, and then Z. Z represents UTC or universal time. Then I want to get the first 10 characters. That is why I have used slice 010. Then I have split them using the dash. So what happens? It will be an array with 3 values. The values will be 1982, 11 and 22. So I want to reverse the array using reverse method, and again I want to join those items in the array using slash. Then I get it in the specified format. That is the format I prefer. Suppose I want to have dot instead of slash. What I can do? Here instead of slash I can just specify dot, whatever format I want. So let me refresh. See? Okay. 22.11.1982. Now what I want, let me try to display. Before that, let me remove these two alert. Okay. So let me specify document dot get element by ID. What is the ID we have specified for the div element? It is result dot inner HTML equals, I want to get JS object dot fname plus space plus JS object dot lname, again space plus I want to enter. Okay, we can remove this space and here we can have a space and then specify was born on, then space plus birthday. It is stored in the birthday variable, right? Now let's see the output. Save. Let me refresh. See, John Smith was born on 22/11/1982. So this is the format in which I wanted to display the information. So here what we have seen, here we expect the JSON string contains a date information which is represented as a number, and that number is the number of milliseconds since January 1st, 1970. So if this date of birth is not 22/11/1982, then this value will be different, right? So we can get that value using any Unix timestamp converter, and you just need to multiply the value by 1000, as the Unix timestamp converter usually represents it in seconds and we want to get the value in milliseconds. Then we used the json.parse method to convert it into a JavaScript object, and we then use the date method to convert the number into a date object, and later we have displayed it in the format we want using the toJSON method, which converts our date object into a string, which is an ISO 8601 format string, and then we displayed the output. So here we got the value as a number. Suppose we get the value as an ISO 8601 string itself. So suppose we expect some date which represents the date of creation. For example, you are subscribing to some email list and it might be having a valid date for subscription, and suppose it expires on some particular date, say after 30 days you are subscribed. So it will be the date of creation of the user, right? So here let me comment this and let me copy this, paste it, let the name be the same, and here instead of date of birth let it be created, and here it will be a string. So we need to represent it within double quotes. So we expect an ISO 8601 format. So let me show you that format here in a new file. It will be in this format, YYYY, then MM, then DD, then T, then HH, MM, SS. Then you can have milliseconds as you want. Suppose it is SS, then Z. So let me represent some value like 1982, 11, 22, then T, which represents a time is following. Let it be 11, then mm 20, then 53 dot. I want to represent a fraction of a second, so let it be 11, then Z. So this is represented like 22nd November 1982, and this is the time, and this is universal time. And instead of the Z, you can also represent, let me copy this, you can have plus 0530 or minus 0530, like that also you can represent. So this is the ISO 8601 format. So let me copy this, okay, and put it within this. So this will be the same date, right? And now we are actually getting a string value as the date, which is the date created, right? So it is in this format already, that is JS object dob.toJSON, which we have done for the previous case. We don't have to do it again. Why? Because it is already in the ISO 8601 format. So let me comment this line, okay, and let me comment this as well. Let me copy this line, and here I just want to get jsobject.dob, which is the ISO 8601 format date, and let me remove this and now try to get the output. Let me refresh. Okay, we are not getting the output. Why? Let me just try to display alert jsobject.dob. Let me refresh. It is giving us undefined. Okay, I got it. It is not dob now, it is created. So here it is created. Here also it is created. Let me save this. Let me refresh. See, we are getting the same data. Okay, then we are getting John Smith was born on 22/11/1982. Suppose I change this to say 1990, this to say 10, and the date to say 05 or 06, and change this to 23. Now let's see, 1990 10 6. Let me refresh. See, 6/10/1990. So here we have seen how we could get the date as a number as well as an ISO 8601 date format. And this is the ISO 8601 date format, YYYY-MM-DD, then T if you want to represent the time as well, or else you can just represent YYY-MM-DD. So here we have seen how we can process the date which is received as a number or as an ISO 8601 date format. Next we will see how we can pass this information to a PHP file and process there and get the result back. We will see it in the next lecture.